Okay, I'm gonna walk you through a quick overview of the Recolor script written by Mr. Hill. There's a couple scripts that go along with this to do what I'm doing. The ones we're going to be focusing on are the create command layer, the Recolor, and I'm going to touch on variable importer, which is another script, but I'm not going to go too much in depth to that. There's other videos and other documentation on that script elsewhere. So the only ones we're going to focus on our Recolor and create command layer. Also, I won't go over into depth in some stuff such as installing the scripts. You can find videos for that on the internet. That's super easy. So I already have them installed, and they're going to be accessible right here in my scripts menu right here. And I just have a little document set up that we're going to use to show off what we're doing here. The other thing we're going to need is I use Google Sheets for data. Some people use Excel, but I have heard there are some issues when you save as a CSV file going into Illustrator. Sometimes Excel likes to add some extra bits in there, and it caused some issues. I've seen it myself, and I've read about it online, and so I just kind of gear away from using it. And Google Sheets is free, and it's online, and it's easy to use. So there you go. We're going to have two sheets. One's going to be our command layer sheet, and our other sheet's going to be a data for all of our colors. We're going to be starting out with just one color change, and then I'll move on to two, and I'll show you how to set those up. There's documentation on, we'll leave a link somewhere here, and there's this LinkedIn documentation Mr. Hall put together that kind of walks you through this stuff. So I'm kind of just kind of doing it more layman's terms, not so technical. And so this is the stuff you could read through if you want to get more in depth about what's going on with the script. So to kick this off, we're going to start with a spreadsheet. And in the spreadsheet is going to be these headers: target note, source text name, method, and parameter. And these four pretty much tell the script what to look for inside of the document, what to look for and what to change color and how to change it. So we have a target note, source text name, and I'll show you where this target note comes into play. The source text name is basically what is going to get merged to. So it's going to create a text field that the script is going to look at, the variable is going to look at to change. And then the method, there are a few methods. There's apply color, which is what we're using. There's apply color, apply swatch, and apply style, and those are right here. We're going to be doing apply color. So this reads hex codes, and that's what we're going to have in our second sheet here. So we're telling the script, okay, look for this type of fill, and it's going to be apply color, and it's going to fill. So that's what's going to happen here. On the second sheet, we have, I'm actually going to hide the second, actually I'll just delete them for right now. We're gonna do two colors in a minute, but we're not gonna do that right now. So I'm just gonna get rid of the two colors so there's no confusion. Make it very simple. Here we go. So we have color name, and then we have the elements. The color name column is used to name the file that I'm going to export later on, and also lets me keep track of the colors instead of just having hex codes. I actually associate names with those hex codes, so I kind of know which is which at a glance. And so it's very simple, just color name and elements. Here's the elements one, and that is replicated over here with the target note and source code, which I'm about to show you what we're going to do. So I'm going to download both these spreadsheets as CSV files. So I'm going to download that one, and I'm going to download this one. We're going to come back to Illustrator. And like I said, I'm going to use variable importer. I would definitely check this plugin out, this script out if you don't have it. It's awesome if you do variable data. It gives you a lot of options. It's just amazing. I have nothing but good things to say about it. So we're gonna download our. Let me back up. I want to do the command layer first before we do that. So we're gonna do scripts, create command layer, and I'm gonna select my command layer. It's going to ask me, do I want to make a text layer? And I'm going to say yes. So what it did is it added two layers with text. One, I'm going to zoom in here so we can see what's going on. one is the element, and the other is kind of the information, the instructions for the script. Source text is going to look for elements 1, the target note, elements 1, and then the apply color is fill. And then this is what we'll watch for the variable data. So once that's done, I'm going to leave this showing for now. Usually when I start this, once I run this, I'll just hide these. And also keep in mind, this used to be done manually, and now it's done with a script. So if you wanted to, you could actually just edit this right here. If you wanted to go to, apply swatch, you could just type it in here. If you had more elements, you could do it all by hand. Just makes it really nice and neat to be able to do this and to keep a spreadsheet of it in case you had, tons of, like, 10, 15 elements that you had to change colors for. It's easier to do it this way. So I'll leave this visible right here because we're going to now import the variable data. So we'll go to variable importer. We're going to go to choose data. We're going to go to the data we downloaded. Over here in the options window, this gives you an option. Like I said, I'm not going to go into too much depth with this variable importer, but there is an option to now name the files that it's going to spit out. And this is what I was talking about, where we can use the name of the files, the name of the colors to name each file. And that's what it's doing here. It's looking at the spreadsheet, and I'm telling it, grab variable value 1, which is the color name. And if you click test data set names, you can see what they're going to be named. And the great thing is you have 6 options here. So I could add, if I wanted to, I could do an underscore and then increment numbers. So that if I hit test again, you'll see it has an underscore and then 1 through 3 and all the way to 24. So we'll leave it like that for now. Oh, and something else is neat is you could add custom text. So let's say I was going to do, let's do demo recolor and then underscore, and then we'll do color name and then another underscore and then increment, and then there you go. So there you go. There it is. Demo color and then the name of the color and so on. So I'll just say okay. And then, like I said, there's a bunch of other options here that we don't need to mess with for this demonstration. And I'm just going to import variables. So immediately, because and if you've ever used variable data in Illustrator, you'll know this, because my elements 1 is the same name as one of the objects in here, it already binded it together for me automatically. And that's why this changed to zeros, because that is the first color in our color set. And if I scroll through the variables, you'll see that they're changing. Now, for some reason, if you have a name and it's different, so let's just hypothetically say this didn't bind automatically, and you can see now if I scroll through the, let me make this window a little bigger so you can see what's going on here. If I were to scroll through the data set, you could see nothing is changing. What you can do is you can click on the object or text that you want to bind, and then target or meatball the object, and then you could just link them using this make text dynamic. And then once I do that, now when I scroll through, you'll see they'll be changing again. So that's it. So now we have what the script is going to look at to change, and then what it's going to change to. So we can hide these. We don't need to look at those anymore. So now we have one last thing to do, and that is to let Illustrator know which objects to change. How do we label these? Well, there's a cool little feature in here called attributes, and not many people use it. They have a note section, and that's basically where this little, turn this back on real quick, where this comes in, target note. We're putting a note in here to tell the script, look for the attributes that have this note and change the color to this hex code. So we're going to hide this. We're going to select recolor, and we're going to type in elements 1 because that's what I have the target name, and there we go. There's that. And then also what I'm going to do is just for fun, let me center this, and then we're going to make this a little smaller. Put that there, and we'll make this a tiny bit smaller because the names are going to get big. And then what we'll do is we'll change this to the color names so that when the colors change, the names change with it. So you can see there, I have the names changing. And there you go. So that's labeled elements 1, and I'll just run the script real quick. I'm going to run it from the script menu just for this instance, but I'll show you a better way to have this run. So we'll click recolor, and there you go, burgundy turn burgundy. And obviously nothing else changed because they don't have a note. I can select all 3 of these and at the same time give them the elements 1 note, and now when I run this script again, it now changes them all to burgundy. A quicker way around this would be is I created an action, and actually I have to, I'm going to edit this action live per a note from Mr. Hill. So what I have right here is I just have an action. Let me bring this up. This will be easy to see. I just have an action that just runs the color. So there, and if I just hit next, if I just hit play, it'll next and then hit play, it'll change the colors. But what Mr. Hill suggested is that I add in here, let's see, insert menu item, I think. Can I do it that way? And then next data set. Oh, I have to record that, I guess. Let's see. Record. There you go. Next data set. And then hit stop. Let's see what that does. So if I hit play, so you can see as I hit play, it'll just keep going through. And it looks like the, oh, I have it backwards. Let's do that the other way around. This has to be on top of here. There we go. So now when I just hit the button, now it'll scroll through going to the next one. So it'll jump to the next one, then it changes the color. There, that's easier. So you just put the little variable thing in there as an action, and now you can just scroll through just so you can just test out, make sure everything looks good. So there's that. So we have the elements all set up. We have our colors all imported. We have our little action, and then the only thing you have left to do is, this is just for testing it out. What you want to do is you want to build a new action, and once again, same thing. Actions are all over the internet. If you need to learn how to build actions, look at the internet. YouTube's got tons of videos on actions for Illustrator. You can learn how to do that there. What I did is I set up a save file, which allows me to then batch this, and it's an automation in actions. I'll show you that in a second. So I have a recolor, and then I have a save, and I'm just saving out as a PDF. Yeah. So once that's set up, I'm going to go from the recolor script, and then I'm going to run the save, and then it'll go to the next one, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to let this run, and you'll see it change colors. So we're going to be on our save files that I've built already. We're going to go to batch. I'm going to use this is going to be all set up already. So it'll say set, which I'm in the color change. I'm in the action, that save files. That's what I want. The source is going to be the data source. That's this set over here, data source. That's what we want. Data sets, I should say. And then you're going to choose the destination. I always do this as an override because it's easy to tell Illustrator where I want the files to be saved, because maybe when you built the action, you saved it somewhere else. So for right now, we're just going to go on my desktop for now is fine. So we're going to say Recolor Demo, and I'm going to hit choose. And I always have override action save so that it'll just run what I want to run and save where I want to save it. Make sure you have data set name checked here so that it grabs these names over here that are in the data set. That was kind of what I showed you in the beginning with the variable data, how you can build the names. Those are the names it'll choose. And then you can just leave that stop for errors. And so I'm going to hit OK, and this is going to go pretty fast. It'll just blow through all of the colors, spitting them out as PDFs. Once it's done, I'll jump over, and what do we got? 20 something. So it's almost it's more than halfway done. 24, I think, is what we had. So once it's done, I'll jump over to, there you go, it's finished. Jump back to my desktop and go here, and then you can see here are all the PDFs, named just like we like them, and all with the proper colors. So there you go. There's that. Now, that seems very simple. And if I was going to just do one color, I might just do it manually because it might just take the same amount of time, and then I could just save them out. But this is where it gets good, is when you start having multiple colors, multiple elements. When you start using the merge feature, which allows you to use a graphic style to affect an object, and it actually merges them. So if you already had a graphic style on there, instead of replacing it, it will add to it. So it'll merge the two graphic styles together, which is pretty slick. Apply style, and then apply will just apply the graphic style. I'm not going to go into the graphic styles setup on this in this video. I'm just going to be focusing on the fill color. So you can definitely check that out. And remember, you also have the ability to change the stroke as well. And you would just denote that using the parameters. So I'm going to undo what I had here so I get my two colors back. So what I did is I added another row, another column for color name 2. And then I have color name 1, color name 2, and then I have full name. And what I did here is I built a little formula, text join formula. And what this does is it joins these two columns together with an underscore between the names. And the great thing about this is now this is what I'm going to use to label the names of the file so that I get both color names in the file. So I know that this is going to be black and blue. The next one will be blue and burgundy, and so on and so forth. And then here are the hex codes for elements 1 and 2. I'm going to go back to my command layer, and I'm just going to drag this down to make a copy of this, and all that. And there, it already actually did the numbers for me. So this is all ready to go. Elements 2. I'm going to apply a color, and it's going to be a fill. So I'm going to download these again. Download CSV there, and then download this CSV. I'm going to come back to Illustrator. Whoops. I'm going to go to variable import again. I'm going to import the variable data. Actually, same thing again. I made the same mistake twice. Why I did that, I don't know. But we're going to do create command line layer first. So we'll do this one. And there. And hit yes. So now we should have 2 of those. And we do. You can see them over here. You can see we have 1 and 2. Oh, let me delete the old ones. Let me redo that. I want to get rid of those old ones. I don't want to have any conflicts. I'm going to run that again. I just cleared out the old ones, so we had a fresh start. There we go. Actually, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll just delete these. Yes. Okay. So now I'm going to go to variable importer. I'm going to import my data. I'm going to go to my dataset names. I'm just going to leave them like this for now. We want the full names and test. There we go. There's the 2 names all the way down. That's what we wanted. I'll leave it just like that's fine. And then I'm going to import. I'm going to hide my command layers and recoloring variable data. I'm going to hide that. And I'll do a test with the first color. So I'll just click this and hit play. And there you see it's only changing because I only have one color. Because all these elements, all these objects have the elements 1 in the attributes. So let's say I'm going to do this. I'll just select the star and the square, and I'll change that to a number 2, and then I'll run this again. And now you'll see that I have the 2 colors, and they're varying between the objects on this page on the artboard. And so now the same thing. I would do the same thing. I would just go to Actions. I'd go to Save Files, Batch. Everything is the same. I can go in there. It's fine with me. I'll hit OK. And now it'll run through this data set, alternating the colors between the objects. And the great thing is, like I said, you could have multiple colors. You could have layered things up. You can have images. You can have your text. All that kind of stuff will still all operate the same. And then along with the colors changing based on hex codes. And we'll take a look at those files here. They all are. And there you go. Pretty slick. And actually these I didn't wonder why the names didn't change on those. Oh, because it had the old names. I didn't update this to the full names. Like you could just do it like that. There we go. Now they're gonna change. I'll run that again just for fun. It goes pretty quick. So now those should be in there. Now it's right. And it gives us the full name. So pretty amazing stuff. I would definitely check out the data here, the document for the merging, because you can do color swatches. You can name the swatches, which is really neat. So if you had a list of swatches that you named, instead of the hex code, you can actually put in there the actual name of the, and here's an example right here, the actual name of the color, and it'll grab that swatch. That's what these all are. These are actually names of swatches. And I guess this one is a merge right here, orange yellow. That must be the, let's see. Yep, that's going to create a gradient. Pretty slick stuff. So anyway, hope this video helped you out, kind of understand a little bit better how the setup goes for the recolor. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Mr. Hill and or myself. And there you go.